Beer and bars are pillars of Wisconsin culture, but the conversation around booze is starting to shift with new movements in support of sobriety. NBC 15's Erin Sullivan explores why some Madisonians are rethinking their drinking.
A blank page now filled with strokes of color.
Painting is super meditative for me.
Nicole Peasley isn't trying to make a masterpiece.
Just taking it step by step and day by day.
Her process is grounded in patience.
Breaking it down to the simplest approach really helps me.
It's the same strategy she takes to staying sober.
If I just focus on the finished product, or I focus on, let's say, 10 years of sobriety, it's too overwhelming.
Nearly 4 years ago,
I just felt like I was limiting myself.
the Madison native found herself at a crossroads.
My decision to quit drinking at the age of 30 was I was picturing my life at 40 or 50, and I didn't like what it looked like.
She made a private Instagram account to find other sober people on social media.
I wasn't necessarily looking for a program. I was just looking for connection with other people.
Fast forward 1 year, she and two friends decided to create an online community for people looking to cut back or quit. It's called New Fashioned Sobriety.
We're not a traditional recovery group. We're more centered around community and connection and forming friendships.
Today, they've grown to more than 2,500 followers, hosting Zoom chats during the pandemic and eventually in-person hangouts.
It was super cool to finally meet them in person.
From hikes to coffee and craft nights. Her goal this year is to host monthly meetups.
I would just encourage anyone who is thinking about it or feeling like they desperately need it to reach out for help, because it's a really beautiful life that I highly recommend.
This cocktail that we're going to be making is called Bizarre Gardening Accident.
At Blind Shot Social Club on Madison's east side, owner Michelle Duvall is shaking up the bar industry.
We've got mint, basil leaves.
Creating what she calls Wisconsin's largest mocktail menu.
We can still have a fun, sophisticated drink, but that doesn't necessarily need to include alcohol.
When Duvall and her husband opened the bar and restaurant in 2021, she made sure there were options for non-drinkers beyond water and soda.
This one comes in a pretty little cocktail glass.
It's a personal endeavor.
Bartending, restaurants, that's been, my whole world. That's what I know how to do.
She's 9 years sober herself.
Bartending, coming to college, through all of that, I just started drinking quite a lot, way more than I needed to, than I should, and I got to a point in my late 20s where I was like, all right, I just can't continue at this pace, so I quit drinking altogether. I was able to still maintain bartending jobs and then restaurant management jobs and whatnot, just without drinking.
Blind Shot's non-alcoholic drink list just keeps growing, and so does the demand.
People are more interested in this, and you're getting more local products being made as far as non-alcoholic beers from local breweries, non-alcoholic spirits from local distilleries. It's just climbing up and up.
This shift in drinking culture is encouraging for Dr. Elizabeth Salisbury Afshar.
I'm hopeful that moving forward we'll start to have a more inclusive environment for folks who are trying to abstain, whether it's because they have alcohol use disorder or just for broader health reasons, regardless of the cause.
The UW health addiction specialist says in Wisconsin, there are particularly high rates of binge drinking in 21 to 35-year-olds. And there's no one-size-fits-all solution.
Unfortunately, sometimes people want to know an exact cutoff. And the reality is, we see 30-year-olds in the hospital who have liver failure and will die if they don't get a new liver. And we see other 30-year-olds with similar drinking patterns who have liver damage but maybe aren't at the same point.
She says addressing your mental health goes hand in hand with changing your drinking habits.
So there are times when maybe someone's first step is actually getting into some counseling to develop some other skills and coping techniques just to manage that depression or anxiety. And as we start working on that, then cutting back on alcohol use becomes much easier.
So whether it's an honest conversation at a clinic,
So how's it going?
finding a new circle of support,
We sat there and talked for about 2 hours.
or sipping on something zero proof,
That one's been a very popular one for us.
more people are taking a shot at sobriety.
We give it a little bit of lime at the top.
In Madison, Erin Sullivan, NBC 15 News.
Erin, you definitely have a personal connection to this story here.
I do. So I'm a year and a half sober myself. Quitting drinking was something that I'd considered doing for several years. And a year and a half ago, I just decided it was time to make a change. And you know, this has been such a rewarding choice for me. And I wanted to take a minute to share this with everyone at home, just to say that I know how scary and hard it can be to get started. I was really fearful that quitting drinking was going to change my life. I was concerned about how it would change my social life, and I was scared of what people would think of me. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I felt like I was going to be trapped by sobriety. But I feel the opposite. I feel free. And I feel very connected to myself and my friends and family. And I also found that people are really accepting of this. I remember early on telling you, like 2 weeks in, and I was so scared. Not because of you, but just I was scared to tell everyone.
Sure.
And you were like, oh, cool. How can I help you? You know? And I really appreciated that. So I just wanted to share that part of myself, because I'm fortunate to have this platform. And if anyone out there is considering like quitting, have faith in yourself, because there are so many resources to getting sober today. It's not a one-size-fits-all thing. You just gotta like find what works for you. And I really do think, like Nicole said, it's a beautiful life.
We really can't tell you how proud we are of
thank you
for sharing this and going through what you have been through the past year and a half. You're an awesome person, with or without alcohol, so we love you so much.